But you've started playing Final Fantasy XIV, finally. Tell us about that.
So I literally, anytime I'm booting up to play Tokiden, I hear your voice saying, "But you promised," is what I hear.
But I'm like the ghost of Christmas Past. Is that what's happening? I'm the ghost of Christmas Past. You promised you'd do it.
What the hell, man? And this is like I've told people, I'm on holiday break, and there's no other time that I'm gonna have to think. Okay, I'm gonna play a game for 7 hours today, and like my mindset going into gaming right now on each day is like, okay, I'm gonna play for like 5-6 hours. I'll stop to clean the house, mess around with Yuna, have some fun, go shopping, and make dinner. But I'm gonna play for hours on end.
Yeah,
like this is my golden moment to finally see what it's all about and see if it's for me or not. Because obviously it's good. It's just whether or not it connects with me is a whole nother story. We don't know. So finally, the other day you had helped me start a new character on the Japan server because we had no rushes on queues, which are pretty much gone now around the world because everyone's either finished the game and moved on, or
it's actually not as it's not as gone as I made it understand to you the other day. Because like yesterday, for instance, at like 8 p.m., I had like 500 people in queue in my server, but I was told by people in my chat that like, no. Different servers are still like, they still have tons of queues. It's just Spriggan is not a huge server. So therefore our queues are kind of like already on the down low, but like a lot. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. There's going to be people like moving servers now. Don't come to,
well, this you won't be playing when I'm playing. So it's like when I logged in both times today, my queue was 2 on the first one, and then my queue was 4 on the second. And then one time I didn't even have a queue. I just got in. I was like, okay.
And Gaijin's on a trial account, guys. So he's getting in on a trial account on Spriggan. So yeah, it's pretty good. The queues are pretty good on there.
Yeah. So I will admit it's actually better the fact that I redid the beginning with you. I got to a point where I was going to boot it, guys, and I was laying like a little kid in my living room, like having a temper tantrum, laying in bed, and Yuna's like, "What?" And she rolls her eyes at me. I'm like, "I need motivation." And it's like, I really should play FF14. I know Rurikhan wants me to play 14. I said I'd play 14. Everyone wants me to try 14. I just can't get off my ass to do it. How do I find the motivation? It's just like, it's like you have homework that you know you have to do. You can't get away with not doing it, and then you just can't. Your brain is telling everything in your body is telling you, don't.
It's interesting because I feel like that's the way most players feel when it comes to starting Final. Because I felt the same way, and it was just like my chat pulling me on. It's like, no, you got to try it, got to do it, got to try it. Just don't do side quests, just do the MSQ, just got to do it, try it. And then eventually when you get in, it's like it still takes a while to get used to it. Because like even you look at the visuals
it's
and
less,
you're like,
the bed under the monster is always more scary with the lights off, right?
It's like if you look at the visuals, like even you right now, you look at these visuals and you're probably like, wow, this game looks dated. I guarantee.
No, like, it looks great.
It's like, but to me, it felt like this game looks a little bit dated. I don't know if I like the art style, but it's like the moment that you actually start playing it, like to me, I think this is one of the best looking games that I've played. Even though it's like these are 2013 graphics, I'm like, this game looks freaking gorgeous.
I'm sure the fact that I'm playing on PS5 helps, but I'm also on the European server and my internet probably helps. But like, it runs flawless. Like there's like,
oh yeah,
you go into the open world and it's just like, there you go. There's no popping, there's no loading, it's just like, zoom, you're in, and it feels expensive.
There is one thing that you will know if you're like in an area and there's like tons of players on there, the game has like a limited amount of players that it will render, and at that point you'll get player pop in. And that is
that's fine.
That is actually jarring when you see it the first time, because like imagine just a crowd of people around you, but there's like a little ball. It's just a little ball, and then as you move forward, the ball keeps growing.
Well, the thing is like we get kind of. I think I'm probably used to player popping because it's kind of like what you get when you play Souls games. Because every now and then you'll just see this little apparition of a guy fighting, and you're like, whoa, what the hell is that? And then it just becomes it's a thing, the people dying.
The white phantoms and the red blood stains and okay. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? That's some weird stuff.
But anyway, so starting over the second time was good because the first session we did, I'll be honest, I would have never made it through myself.
Yeah.
Understanding the UI, understanding how to set things up was just way too much for me.
I think that the problem is also like, ultimately, most MMO games are designed to be played on a keyboard. So like you have here's all of your keys that you can put and whatnot, and transitioning that to a controller, which is what you're doing. You're playing controller. A lot of people are going to be like, Gaijin, you can just hook up a keyboard and mouse to your PlayStation 5. And yes, you can do that, but
I have a mouse.
Yeah, Gaijin wants to play on a controller, and I play on a controller, and I think it's like, look, I know, all right? This is just a fact of life. Some people are not going to accept it, but 14 has the best controller support of any MMO in existence ever. It's just that simple. It's the best. And it's so good, Yoshi P didn't even patent it because he was like, I want other people to steal this from me. Just like copy it. It's not patented, just copy it. Just copy the way that we did it, and that way you'll have a good functioning system for your MMO. That's what you got to do. But most people, unfortunately, don't do it. But
yeah, that initial hump was tough. But we decided, okay, I need to be carried a little bit. Not carried because you couldn't even help me on my quest. You were just like sitting there in the car waiting for me as you're like, let me out at the side of the road to go take a whiz, and you're like, let me know when you're done because I don't see what the hell you're doing. You're hitting air and you're running around. I don't know what you're doing because I'm doing a quest that you don't have.
I dropped you off at the arcade and gave you a couple of quarters. That's what I did.
And so we decided, okay, you had space open up in your European server, so we jumped on. Yeah. My daughter said, call Rurikhan. Maybe he'll walk you through. He'll help motivate you. I said, okay, that's a good idea. So I think I messaged you that I'm screaming like a child or something.
You said what? Cries like a baby.
Yeah.
And it was funny because
I need motivation.
Usually I wouldn't even be in the office, but that morning I happened to be because my dad, like, he wanted to do some stuff and needed some help. So I happened to be here, and I was like, okay, sure, let's do this.
The irony of someone who loves Monster Hunter complaining about confusing UIs, right? But it's not the UI that's confusing. It's the navigating the UI, like closing windows, and there's so much stuff going on. That's just the nature of the genre, right?
It's mostly because of the controller thing. Because like when it comes to navigating, like a lot of these menus on PC, you just hit escape and everything goes away. You just spam escape until everything goes away. And on console, you have to like select the right things, and you have to practice a lot with that. It's like even I struggle with it sometimes, closing different UI elements in the game and whatnot.
Yeah,
there's a
that's
lot
why I
of
put
stuff.
the mouse. I hooked up the mouse to it, and it worked out great. But that second time was great because you literally chauffeured me around. So I redid the beginning all over again, and then I was able to get the same name, same character, which was great, which I'm very happy about. Her name is Lily Bloodbath. She's going to be the greatest conqueror. she's a small little French fry.
He's playing a Lalafell Marauder, for anyone wondering.
The axe is almost as big as me.
Yes.
My axe will get bigger than me. That's the goal, is to have an axe that is much bigger than me.
Oh yeah, that's not particularly hard.
And the fact that I'm going to be a tank is going to be really funny. Because a tank I think would work good for me because I like to go pretty like jump first, ask questions later, and as long as I know what defense scenes I need to have up, I should be okay.
That's the thing that always confuses me when people are like, I don't want the responsibility of playing a tank. Responsibility. It's the lack of. Yeah, I go in first, and if anybody dies, I blame the healer. It's like, I think I have no responsibility whatsoever.
There's like literally no, you just go in blazing and make sure that the enemies, you're hitting all of them. So that they're all looking at you. And then someone got your back and going to heal you. You're just going in there swinging blind. Well, you're not blind, but you know what I mean? So it's like, this is going to be great for me because there's no weird... I think healer would be stressful. Like trying to keep track of everybody and everything, but I don't know. I've never played these games before. So
I've always said I think that DPS is the most stressful job. A lot of people disagree because DPS have...
you've got to configure builds and everything, right?
No, not really builds. It's like...
No?
You need to figure out your rotation and figuring out your rotation, actually learning how to do it properly. DPSers have the most complex rotation usually, and they have to do that rotation, and at the same time they have to do mechanics. And it's like, usually if things aren't dying fast enough, it's DPS's fault. So to me, like the biggest fault point is always DPSers, because if something lasts long enough, then everybody breaks down. Because like, dude, I don't want to be doing my rotation for 30 minutes. Okay, this thing needs to die.
Yeah. So I'm feeling good about what I chose for now, and I think tank is going to be my way to go, because it's mechanically less complicated than I thought, and I'm finally learning how to do the enmity, and it's flashbacks to Behemoth from Iceborne, and
I mean that's why that mechanic is there. Except enmity doesn't really work like it does in 14 on Behemoth.
Oh, it's much
much better.
I like
here.
this one more because because like the Marauder has that, like, was it Defiance, where you just go in there like as a badass. It's almost like you're announcing to the world, hey, F you guys, and you're walking at the battle and they immediately look at you and they're like, argh, and you're like, come and get it.
And the funny thing is that you're playing a little potato character, and it's like,
yes,
I'm the baddest one in this party. Y'all have to face me. It's almost like, imagine someone's playing like a Rogadin, which is like the really, really big characters, and they're playing like a healer Rogadin, and you're like, if you want to get to him, you have to get through me. And the monster's looking, it's like, who's talking? Where? And then they have to like look down. Oh, you.
Look down. Oh. Exactly. So that's why I'm going to love this character. It reminds me of my Dragon's Dogma girl. She was a really small little French fry, but she kicked major ass. But she was a light weapon user. This one is going to be a heavy one, so that's going to be fun. But yeah, so I started up, and then today, so I had a great play session with you. You showed me off some of the cool mounts. You drove me around like a chauffeur, like driving me to prom or something. You're like letting me out, and I'm killing something. You're like, okay, where are we going next? And we're having Discord issues. I'm like, 2 o'clock.
I'm surprised.
No, over there.
I'm surprised that Discord is like working today, because like yesterday Discord. I need to shut up.
Shut up.
I'm gonna jinx it at this point.
You're gonna jinx it, dude, man. Stop it.
It's very dangerous.
But today I put in a good few hours, and I went I got up to level 20, and I got past the first like opening city. They showed me a really cute sort of like elfish city. I forgot the name, Grania or something. And then they immediately ushered me out.
Thank God.
They immediately ushered me. Well,
listen, you don't want to be in Gridania, okay? Gridania is not. No,
why?
No, Gridania is
pretty.
Bad. No, dude.
They immediately ushered me out to the most bland, boring, like building.
And
I'm like,
what? In the city? You mean, or to another city?
To another city.
Oh, like, Ul'dah.
Oh, yeah. I was not feeling that. I'm like, this is boring as hell.
Yeah, Ul'dah is the movie theater complex or something. Desert. It's the desert city. Yeah, I get it.
Nah, no, thank you. So they got me out of there. So I was like, yes. And they're like, go back home. I'm like, okay. So I go back home, and it's kind of funny. I kind of felt nostalgia going back to the bar.
Yeah.
I was like, the wench, give me.
Oh, dude.
Why don't they let you drink?
Let me tell you, you can drink. You can buy a drink, and then you can drink it. But it's not like Monster Hunt. I don't think you can. I've never really tried.
Damn.
It's not like Monster Hunt where you just like you sit at the bar and you drink ale. But you can do that. But you know how people do? They do that with other players. So like there's a housing system, and you can players can have houses, and so they'll have events where you go there and there are emotes for you to like drink and eat bread and do other things, and people do that.
It would have been nice though, because they have stools there to just hit a button and you sit down and you can do some gestures. That would be fun. At least for taking photos and having fun. I mean, so I did that, dude. Then they give me the actual. Now after how many hours was that? Like 10, maybe. And now they finally give me the damn tutorial for the game, and I'm like, thanks, guys.
No.
If I didn't have Rurikhan here, my only tutorial would have been pop-ups all over the place, and then a bunch of not even fetch quests. It's like, I want you to go to the other side of this world, just talk to this guy, and he's gonna tell you to come right back to me. And then you got to do it all manually.
You're gonna struggle. What? You're going to struggle through the post.
I sold everything I had to buy Gil so that I could just transport myself back. I was sick of walking. I sold everything. Okay. I did every fate I came across, and I sold every item I ever got.
Yoshi P.
Screw it.
Please sell Final Fantasy 14 again so I can give him 1 million gil. Yoshi P, please sell Final Fantasy 14.
Well, I'm going to make a pledge here.
Okay.
On my next full play session, which I'll play a little bit more tonight, but it won't be a full session. It'll probably be like 3 hours. But on my play sessions are like 5 is what I consider a session. So I'll do a session probably tomorrow. If I'm feeling good at the end of that play session, I will purchase the game.
You can't.
What do you mean?
You literally can't. They're not selling it.
I thought you said they got rid of the queues and stuff.
Yeah, but they're still not selling it. You know how people tell you, like, hey, have you ever heard of the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy? Now it just reads, no vacancies, we're full, get out.
I thought when you said they were doing away with the queues, I thought you meant that they were doing away with those restrictions.
Not yet.
Oh, never mind. Screw my pledge.
Actually,
never mind.
I'm thinking about it, and because you have a trial account, you might be able to buy it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I'm in and I'm able to play.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're in is like it's more like new people. So I think if you have a trial account, you might be able to just
an upgrade, right? It's just it's like an in-game purchase at this point. It's just a DLC.
I'm not sure.
Like
we'll have to see, but I think.
But I have a play session and it feels as good as today's play session felt, I will buy it. But now the game is finally giving me
a tutorial.
A damn tutorial.
He's
the
talking,
thing is like this is.
He's talking about the Hall of the Novice, by the way, guys, for those of you who don't know. And the reason they wait that long is because at the start you have literally one ability, and they want to teach you about combos. They want to teach you about using your damage buff. They want to teach you about dodging telegraphs and all of that stuff. And
what they could have did? They could have removed the last 2 hours of quests and streamlined it, because there's so much like. Go to this town and talk to this guy. No, go to this town and talk to. They just cut that out.
Let me explain to you. They did that already. You're playing the better version. You're playing the better. Okay, I played the old version, which had even more filler quests.
Because I gotta say, it started out okay, and then I'm gonna rant about this one thing.
Okay,
I don't know how many people must quit this game, or maybe I'm over exaggerating.
Oh, tons of them do.
There's one quest that they make you do, and they never, or I missed it. If I did not have the internet, there's absolutely no way I would have been able to progress in this game, and I would have just quit and uninstalled it. And I had to look on like GameFAQs or something. If it wasn't for the internet, I would not be able to play it, which is why they say you need to go confront this guy. And I go to confront him, and I talk to him, and he just tells me to like F off. And then I talk to him and nothing happens. I talk to him and nothing happens. So I walked all the way back to town. And yes, I walked all the way back to town. Then I walked all the way back to him. And then this thing said, no, you have to type /doubt. And then you have to press X to execute in front of him. And that will tell him the doubts that the other NPC had. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Dude, listen, let me explain to you. The problem with this is that you minimized your chat window. These things show up on your chat window letting you know what you should be doing on this quest. And because you got rid of it, you don't know. You have to find a way. You have to find some place that you can put the chat window.
The thing is like my character has no vested interest in this NPC at all. And then this other guy says, hey, I think he's up to something. You need to go talk to him and tell him, hey, I think we're on to you. And so why don't I just go to him, and when I talk to him, we have that conversation?
No.
Why are they forcing me to do a damn emote?
Let me explain to you why. Because earlier you said, I wish they would let me do emotes to drink and whatnot. And the game is showing you that there is an emote system that you can use to do those gestures that you want to do that enable socializing. They shouldn't be part
of the functionality of progression.
It's important. Listen, you just don't understand how many people RP in this game. Like I'm talking like not just RP, but ERP. You know what ERP is?
Electronic roleplay?
No, erotic roleplay.
Oh, well, I got a picture of you in the town, and right next to you was like an ass in my face. I was like, oh. I'll show you this.
No, listen, that's just Tuesday. That's just Tuesday in Limsa Laminza, dude. That's
but what's her name?
Normal.
What's her name is a waifu? Yustola?
There it is.
She's cute. I like her.
There it is, dude.
It doesn't mean I'm gonna play as a cat. It just means that I'll sleep with cats. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. It's like, hey, but remember how I told you that like the city that you were in had one of the game's waifus. She's not my favorite waifu of that game. My favorite waifu comes much later in Heavensward. Hilda, she's the best waifu. It is what it is, but to each their own. But yeah, Y'shtola is like the universal waifu. Not step on me, mommy. There's other step on me, mommy characters, but yeah.
She's not sexy. She's like a mix between cute and pretty.
She's not sexy yet.
No. Oh, good God. Stop it.
I'm not saying anything. I'm shutting up right now.
Anyway, I liked her, and I was not aware that she was one of the characters. I mean, the guys all look like ass, so I imagine that she must be popular.
Oh, yes. Very popular.
So, so now the game is giving me tutorials, and it's like, okay, here's how you do this. I'm like, you couldn't have given me like the real basic crap at the start, and then give me the advanced stuff later, like. Because the tutorials are simple. They're not bad. They're well done.
Yes, the Hall of the Novice is very good.
You should have given to this early.
Yeah, the Hall of the Novice is very good, but it's like I'm telling you, it's very hard for them to fix Realm Reborn. I say fix like kind of loosely, to make it more approachable. Right? They made it. Like Yoshi P literally just like he nuked the world. Like 1.0 was so bad that he just like he nuked it. Like, here comes this moon, destroys everything, and now here's Realm Reborn. Like, that's basically what he did. Like that first cutscene that you watch.
I thought that was gonna be at the end of.
No. So here's what happened. So at the end of 1.0,
I thought that was gonna be at the end of. No. Because I watched that cutscene when with Asmongold. I was watching him watch it.
No. So here's the way that it worked, right? So 1.0 was real bad. It had a developer there, the director guy, who was also a little bit arrogant because a news reporter asked him at one point in an interview, "Why doesn't your game have a jump button?" And he just scoffed it off as like, jump button, stupid Western. I mean, he didn't say that, but obviously that was kind of like the inferred, right? And it's like, obviously he did a pretty bad job of making the game, but the story that was there was still kind of decent. So Yoshi P was like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to patch this game, and at the same time, I'm going to develop not a completely new game. He basically they changed the engine. Because they had to redo it. Yoshi P looked at it and was like, I can't fix this, okay? This is unfixable. Yeah. What you guys have done here is unfixable, and the game still has some problems which people refer to as spaghetti code. Because it still uses some of that legacy stuff, but so it was just really interesting that he started developing a new game, didn't tell anyone, and at the same time he was patching 1.0. They did the stop selling thing as well because they're like, okay, our game is ass, we can't sell this. This is terrible. This is gonna do horrible damage. They removed the subscription fee, so anybody that had bought the game, they could play for free, and they fixed the game as best as they could. To make the player base, it's like, look, these are hardcore dudes. We got to make sure that we keep them somewhat happy so that when we actually launch the fixed version of the game, we'll at least have a base of players. And all of those players that played back then, they're actually in the credits for Realm Reborn. Yeah. Like they put all that stuff, which is really cool. But what happened was, at the ending of 1.0, as they were reaching the final patches, you could see like a red thing in the sky. And people started looking at like, what is this? And with every patch, it would get bigger. So it was the moon coming down. And then at the end of it, the developers started just like summoning lots and lots of monsters around major cities and stuff. And the players were like fighting them. They were defending. Like there was even lore built around.
Oh, they actually had people like actually play out the end?
Yes.
Like against like fight an absolutely unwinnable
They were trying to make people fight unwinnable conditions, but they were struggling because players were just so strong that they were just like beating everything that they were throwing at them. and there's actually a group of players that were almost became legendary, which was there's this mount in the game, which is the Gabu. You might have seen it already. It's one of those big dudes with the flailing arms, or whatever. So that's a mount, and players basically, because that was one of the biggest mounts, they all mounted up, and they like put a defense in front of the city to kind of like defend it against the monster. You can't even do anything when you're mounted. It was just like the idea behind it, right? They were making a wall of monsters so that you couldn't get through to the city. And it was just like crazy. Really cool, right? And so it was a very cool moment. And then at the end, when they okay, this is the end, they basically made it so that the game would play that cutscene that you see at the end. Where the moon comes down and Dalamud comes out and blows everything up. And that's kind of like the justification for Realm Reborn, because everything blows up and it's a new world. Bahamut.
Okay, you said Dalamud. I'm like,
Dalamud is the name of the moon where Bahamut was inside it, basically. I can't tell you more because lore, but Bahamut was inside that moon. He comes out, he blows everything up. And then it's like
everybody dies.
You see. Not everybody dies because
small group remains. Yeah, I watched the cutscene. Yeah.
Yeah, if you see the cutscene, you see that there's this old man who's Louisoix, and he does a spell, and like five or six people disappear. Right, you see them disappear. Yep. That spell basically teleported them 5 years into the future, and you don't know what happened.
In chat for him or no?
For Louisoix.
Yeah, he looked like he got. I mean, maybe we can't talk about
it. But
it looked like
that's the thing. You don't know what happened to him. You don't know what happened to him. Yeah, we don't actually know. Yeah. So and here's the thing: everybody that was in that event, nobody knows what happened, because everybody suffered from massive memory loss after that apocalyptic event. So nobody remembers what happened. Nobody remembers who the warriors were that were fighting. But basically, those warriors that get teleported, they are symbolically the players of 1.0. That Louisoix saves them and ports them into the future.
That name sounds like a fashion designer.
Louisoix? It's French.
It is the new brand by Louisoix.
But you have a lot to look forward to, but you're enjoying it, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, the once I and this is going to sound so stupid, but once I associated the combat with Fantasy Life Online, a mobile game, it clicked.
I think Fantasy Life is an MMO as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Fantasy Life, well, these like you're running around as a party of four as you go into quests, and you know it's free roaming. But the thing is like it's got a combination of abilities that you activate, just like FF, which is the meat of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then you have your basic combos, but the basic combos are just there to fill the time. Yeah. And you have positional stuff, but like the enemies have like radiuses of where they're about to attack. So you know to move out of the way.
Yeah, Fantasy Life is an MMO.
It's like a MMO for babies, and it's much more simplistic, but it has very similar mechanics. And I remember me and Yuna spent, I want to say 30 hours on one of the Fantasy Life Online bosses. It was a raid with this crazy flame gorilla. It had multiple phases, would have bombs, and the bombs would fall. You'd have to quick split it up into teams. Like, you got top, I got left, you get right. You got to destroy all of them, because after 3 seconds, everything blows up, and it's an instant kill for everybody. And it was really high-tech. And we got so good at that hunt that we started coordinating, like we were helping to carry people. A raid, yeah. We were coordinating the events so that we can do them with other people, because we knew how to do it really well.
Yeah.
And we would start out in the room by like letting them know, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'll give the instructions, and we got a lot of people through, and that was fun.
Let me tell you right now, if you like that, you're going to love this, because it's got tons and tons and tons of raids, dude. So many raids in this game.
We'll see. Yeah. But I mean, once I equated that, then, and also like I was saying, just the simple nature of, at least right now, it's still pretty simplistic. So it's like, I go in, I've got a few upkeep things, I hit them with a 2-hitter. I just got to remember what I hit last. Is that what you mean by rotation? Like knowing like the order of what you're doing?
Yes, that's exactly. Okay. And it's like Warrior has, I think it's still potentially the easiest job to play. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's either warrior or summoner right now because they changed summoner to be easier. But those two are like the easiest jobs to play. So,
and dude, they gave me a tomahawk. They gave me a ranged attack as well.
You can throw it.
So I can start a fight by I always start by charging at him.
Yeah.
But now I can throw something at his face as I'm running at him.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels so good. I'm just like zhunk. But the hardest thing of my whole gameplay so far was I think I wasted 20 minutes, and I failed a fate because I had no, I didn't fail it. I got it, but I think it was a fate. But I had to target nests for like these like goggle creatures.
it was the dodo. Yeah,
and I messed that up. And it's like
yep.
I can't target the damn nest, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm right in front of it. I've killed everything 5 times already.
All the nests. It's only some of them. Yeah, I know.
Oh man, that was frustrating as hell.
Yeah, there's some things that are like that, but the game gets better as you move forward through zones and expansions for sure. It gets more and more polished.
But my second play session was fun. I was having a good time, so.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes. Well, I'll keep it up.
It's good. It's like after this podcast, we should actually do your first dungeon. I think that'll be fun.
That'd be fun.
You're right. You're right on the quest where you get your first dungeon, so that'll be cool.
Ooh, yeah. You can walk me through it.